welcome to Lighthouse Yoga and Acupuncture. My name is Thomas. We're going to be doing some yoga, some simple stretches, some breathing, and I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. So we're going to approach the mat and come up towards the top of your mat. Good place to begin, standing nice and tall. As you open your eyes and look out in front of you, try to pick a spot that's just a little bit taller than your eyes, or sort of like you're looking just above where your head would be on the wall or in the space in front of you. And then try to stand up to meet that height that you're looking at. So you're sort of standing as tall as your vision. Bending your knees and straightening your legs just a few times, and breathing in and breathing out. As you keep your legs somewhat straight here, letting your body start to rock a little bit from front to back. So the heels to the toes and the toes to the heels. And you'll be able to feel, as you go from front to back, a sort of inner threshold, a kind of midline that runs up and down your body, sort of center axis. And then slowing yourself down so that you can feel and hover on that midline, and just get yourself centered there for a moment and pause. Inhaling and exhaling just as you normally would, just naturally. And then starting to shift from side to side. So as you transfer all the way to the right, all the way to the left, sometimes you feel like you maybe need to step the feet apart, and that's fine. And then in addition to being able to move all the way to the left or to the right, that you can then sort of blend the movement side to side, that you can shift from right to left in a very controlled manner. And you're still crossing that same vertical axis, that same midline from the heels to the head, from the arches to the crown. And then slowly bring your body back so that you're hovering right on that plumb line, that inner axis. As you bend and straighten your knees again, imagine that you're still maintaining that vertical axis, breathing in and breathing out. And then as you keep your legs mostly straight once again, bring one of your hands on your abdomen. So your dominant hand is usually the easiest one to start with. And above your belly button, but below your sternum. So that solar plexus region right in front. And as you breathe in, feel a gentle expansion. As you breathe out, just a gentle contraction. Sometimes we describe the breathing as expanding like a balloon on the inhalation and then deflating, almost like you're helping to squeeze the balloon. The breath goes out. We can also consider that the breathing is moving in all directions, wide, front to back, side to side, up and down. And then it's converging from those uniform directions, all converging at the center. Breathing in, expanding, breathing out, a little bit of that pit of the stomach type of squeeze. Now, a couple more breaths like this, inhaling and exhaling. And the understanding that the breath can move on that vertical axis more than any other direction. So when you exhale, coming back to that belly button, that solar plexus region, and when you inhale, feeling that vertical extension in both directions, upward and downward. And again, as it returns, coming back to the middle. So this can be perhaps the most useful reference in our whole practice, right? The exhalation bringing us back right to that belly button area, and then the inhalation giving you that vertical extension beyond the head, beyond the floor, and then again, everything comes back. Now, I'm doing all this with my arms to help clarify, but you're standing there just trying to feel it, right? The energy and the expansion of the physical lungs, the diaphragm up and down as you breathe in and breathe out. And we'll continue all of this with our arms. So the arms are going to circle wide and up, breathing in, and then circling wide and down as you breathe out. So keeping it simple, just moving from the shoulders at first. So the inhalation brings your arms up, and the exhalation brings the arms down. And then you can start to add your head. So when you breathe in and the arms lift, you can look up. And when you breathe out, you can look down. And then you breathe in, the arms go up and you look up. And when you breathe out, your arms come down and you look down. Third piece, as you reach your arms up, looking up. And then when you bend, looking down, bend your knees, chin to the chest. And then when you breathe in, looking up, straighten your legs. When you breathe out, the arms come around and you can look down and bend your knees. So again, I'm going to shift profile so you can see everything in view, looking up, maybe even a little bit of a back bend. When you come down, exhaling, rounding your back, your shoulders, chin to your chest. Breathing in, arms coming up, and exhaling, arms coming down. We'll do this, keeping it quite simple, 2 more times, right, following the pace of your breath. Right? You never need to wait for my voice or stay with me. It's always good if you watch these videos before a little bit. And exhaling, coming down. And just one more time, we're going to reach up and then grabbing hold of your right wrist. We're going to reach over to the left side. You don't need to grab too tightly at the wrists, just a gentle clasp. Good. Lifting up to the middle, breathing in and out. Switch your hands. You can wiggle the shoulders a little bit, lifting up and then over to that right side. And you can really anchor down that left heel. And then when you breathe in again, we'll stand up straight. Just circle the arms around. Bend your knees a little bit. Let your arms rest alongside your body. And then as you stand up straight, you might close your eyes, breathing in and breathing out. Letting your knees bend and straighten a little bit, slow motion style. Good. And then keeping your legs fairly straight. Now a little bit of twisting here. So this is all really wonderful, fairly simple things that do a lot for your body. You might already feel quite a bit different from just a little bit we've done so far. We're going to bring the arms up and overhead. And then we're twisting to the right. So your left arm goes straight ahead and your right arm will go behind you. Now you can turn and look over your right hand. Don't strain your eyes. The other thing that might be helpful is to put your right hand on your hip. Right? Sometimes that shoulder, it doesn't take too kindly to all that opening, especially with the arms straight there. And we're going to bring both arms up and overhead and then turning to the left. So again, your right arm goes forward, your left arm goes back. And maybe the other side was fine, but this arm says, you know what, I do need to go hand on hip. You can, of course, turn, but sort of looking where your face will give you, not straining your eyes too much. And then we'll breathe in, both arms coming up, and then twisting to the right as you breathe out. And then this is breath in, both arms coming up, face forward, and breathing out to twist. Right, so we'll move like this a few more times, breath to breath. Inhale, the arms coming up, turning to the right as you exhale, and you can look over your shoulder. Breathing in, the arms coming up, and as you exhale, rotating. Let's do a couple more to each side. Inhaling and exhaling, right? You're finding the rhythm of your breath and the rhythm of your body, how they work together. So one last twist on your left side. And if you're with me, you're finished, but take your time. We'll bring the hands together overhead and then down to the heart. Prayer position to pause and let the arms rest. And yeah, the shoulders might need just a little bit of attention, sort of rotating the arms, the wrists, the forearms, the upper arms. Sometimes we'll have a tendency to, a feeling like we want to really shake it out or shake the legs and things like that. I really want to encourage you to contain the energy in your body. Instead of just shaking it out and blindly dissipating it, try to incorporate it, move it through, sort of alchemically reconstructing and maintaining that level of energy, just shifting it into a new area of the body, perhaps. And things do get stuck in the shoulders. You might be feeling that from those movements we've done. So let's give them a little bit of attention. The feet step out left and right. Again, kind of a V-shaped stance, really common for a lot of the wide-legged postures. And then I'm just going to turn to give you the view here. The hands behind with your thumbs together or the hands interlocked, all the fingers. You can always change up which grip you want to work with. Now as we twist a little bit, the chest side to side, trying to straighten your arms, maybe corralling a little bit, the elbows straight, the shoulder blades down the back. And then lift your chin a little bit to emphasize the heart rising. Really sit down, kind of a squat position before you fold. Put your butt way back in space, and then take it the rest of the way into the fold. The arms can stay away from your back. You can release your neck, your head toward the floor, breathing in and breathing out. Keep your hands together. Bring them to your hips, keeping the arms next to your body. Lift your head, and even a little bit of an arching of your back here, the shoulders back, push into the heels. And as you straighten your legs, standing up tall, the arms resting, releasing the hands finally. Again, the knees can bend a little bit in slow motion. And then we'll step the feet together. So just a parallel position. You can look down the feet more or less like the number 11, less like the letter V here. Breathing in and breathing out. Now we're just going to make a little bit of a balance here. We call this the sapling pose. It's similar to the tree pose, as you might have guessed. And really nice variation. So your right heel is going to go onto your left bridge. So, of course, you can observe what I'm doing here, but looking closely, that left heel is right on top of your foot, of your right foot, and then the toes of your right foot are trying to dial back a little bit. So your right heel on top of your left foot. I'm sorry if I misspoke there. So that right knee is turning out to the side, that right thigh is opening out wide. And then from here, the arms can come up and overhead. And this is a really wonderful extension, nice long side stretch. If you want, you can swing your branches to the left, right? Let the trunk of your tree sway over to the right. And surprisingly challenging, this pose, especially if you're working at the level of the hips and really trying to keep the pelvis in that nice solid position. So the hands can come together down to the heart once again, releasing your hands to the hips and just lifting that right heel. We'll step the feet together, bending the knees in slow motion, breathing deeply. Sometimes you don't need to actually make the physical movement to the legs, just a deep enough breath will do the trick. If you need to look down, of course you can, but you might try to do it without looking. Your left heel on top of that right foot. The toes of your left foot can turn even further backwards. So not to confuse you here, but really dialing the toes and the knee, the thigh out wide. The arms overhead when you're set, lengthening up through the fingertips. You can bring the armpits, the shoulders with you. This is great to really lift up out of the shoulders. The problem is when the shoulders get stuck up there. You know, we put the arms down and they're still there, right? So it's no problem to take them there. Just when we bring the hands down, the shoulders come down as well, right? So just a little something to keep in mind. Breathing in when you're finished, hands to your hips, and just putting that left heel down and then bringing the feet parallel. And let your knees bend, breathing in. So sometimes we're a little bit short on time. Standing corpse pose, your feet apart and your palms open, breathing in, eyes closed. And in this position, I like to imagine the morning sun, you know, just sort of washing over you, almost like you're getting that sort of sun and wind blast, the fresh air and the vitamin D. And this is a great place to stay and breathe for 30 seconds, a minute or so. You might come back a little bit to the swaying, and this can be tremendously relaxing. You don't have to make a point of keeping the arms out wide, just somewhere off to the side. Your other option is to sit down. You can squat, as I'm going to do right now, or make your way to the floor and actually come into corpse pose proper, Shavasana. So using the hands perhaps to sit down, your legs extending, and then letting the arms rest out to the side. And of course, this is much more passive, much more soothing, but again, sometimes we're just doing a little bit around the office or at home. And it's nice to have these symmetrical poses that we can rest in and sort of regroup. In certain practices, they take Shavasana between each set of postures, always coming back to a place of rest and stasis before moving on to the next activity. So thank you so much for practicing. We'll see you soon. Leave you with some outro music here. Peace.